I just finished watching a 50-minute press conference from the Oval Office, and I gotta say, it started off all nice and cordial, but during the last 10 minutes, it got pretty spicy. Welcome to my channel, y'all. I hope you're having a great day. Well, Volodymyr Zelenskyy met with Donald Trump in the Oval Office today, and JD Vance was there, and so was Marco Rubio. And for most of the 50-minute press conference, everything was nice and cordial. But the last 10 minutes, well, that kind of got spicy. Let's go to that press conference, and then we'll talk about it.
I'm worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes.
And I think you should keep that in mind. He's not aligning himself with either Putin or Zelenskyy. He's aligning himself solely with the United States of America and the people of the world. He wants to get a deal done. He's a deal maker. And this is very interesting because this is about to go south. Up until now, this press conference was nice and cordial. There was even a joke. One of the reporters joked that Zelenskyy never wore a suit and that kind of stuff. But now things are going to get a little spicy because Zelenskyy is going to show that he doesn't really want the end of the war. He wants to annihilate Putin and Putin's army. That's what he wants. He doesn't think that diplomacy is actually going to happen. So we're going to go back to the press conference here, and JD Vance is going to bring up diplomacy. Then we're going to see what Zelenskyy has to say about that, and that's when things go south.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014
2014.
and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him.
Okay, so right now we see a problem because Zelenskyy is talking about everything that Putin has done, but he's not talking about anything that the Ukrainians have done. I've done a whole video on this, and there's another video that was actually produced by Oliver Stone, which is a really great video, and I've watched some other videos. So watched some videos that were represented the Ukrainian side and then represented the Russian side, and some were more neutral. But there's something that Zelenskyy is not talking about here, and that is the civil war that has been happening in the Ukraine. I believe it's since 2012, and how there was a lot of ethnic Russians being murdered and attacked in eastern Ukraine by basically the government and government-backed militias. So this is not just what Zelenskyy is representing here. And in fact, a lot of people in eastern Ukraine are pro-Russia and want to be part of Russia. So that's another thing that Zelenskyy isn't representing here. So keep that in mind. There's two sides to this. And what J.D. Vance is bringing up is diplomacy is the way to work it out, not just brute force and annihilating Putin's army. No, they have to deal with diplomacy, but Zelenskyy doesn't seem to want to listen.
You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
So Zelenskyy here has made a crucial mistake. He's not directly threatening the United States, but he's saying, hey, you've got to come to my aid or it's going to be bad for you. He is ignoring the fact that the United States is trying to work with him and with Putin to end the war. He's just basically saying that, no, we're right and you have to support us because if you don't, it's going to go bad for you later on. He's not saying that his country is going to make it bad for the United States, but he's insinuating that the United States is making a mistake if they don't just totally back the Ukraine, which I think he's made a mistake here, and he gets Donald Trump riled up.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
I'm not
cards.
playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're gambling with World War III.
what you're
You're
thinking
gambling
about?
with
What are you
World
thinking
War
about?
III.
Now, here's the thing. Zelenskyy isn't smart enough just to shut his mouth, just to say, I'm sorry, I think there's been a misunderstanding, and let it go at that. No, he continues to argue with Donald Trump. The commander-in-chief of the most powerful nation in the world and the nation that's trying to end this war. So he's arguing with him. What is the point here, Zelenskyy? Zelensky's not a smart man. If he was, he would have ignored Joe Biden and Boris Johnson 2 years ago and would have signed the ceasefire agreement that was presented to him. Actually, it's almost 3 years ago now. So no, Zelensky's not a smart man here. And this all goes south because he wants to argue and he doesn't think that the United States should be the one who is setting the rules going forward. But it's the United States who's actually going to end this war.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's
with
back
all
to
respect to
you,
your
far
country.
more than a lot of people said they should
Have
have.
you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
what are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about Vance?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just-
So I don't know if you caught that, but note that Zelenskyy is trying to say that he's been in this war all alone, that he's faced Russia all alone. That's not the case at all. This has been a proxy war, the Joe Biden proxy war against Russia. That's what it's been all along. And he's not accepting that. And he's been talked into staying in this war. And now he thinks, for whatever reason, that the United States is still going to back him and going to crush Putin. That's not going to happen.
Say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
that
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make,
Um,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do we do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you
but
saying?
what
She's
if
asking, what if Russia
Putin
breaks the ceasefire?
Well, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken ceasefire
What if they broke it?
many
I don't know.
times.
They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But what,
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think?
What's this negotiation?
This is going to be great television, I will say that.
So the press conference ends shortly after that, but then on his way to Marine Force One, because he's traveling down to Mar-a-Lago this weekend, he gets into a scrum with the press corps again, and he talks about this interaction that he had, this press conference he had with Zelenskyy, and he gives his opinion of that press conference. So let's go to that, and then we'll talk about it.
We had a meeting today, as you know, with President Zelenskyy, and I would say it didn't work out exactly great from his standpoint. I think he very much overplayed his hand. We're looking for peace. We're not looking for somebody that's going to sign up a strong power and then not make peace because they feel emboldened, and that's what I saw happening. I'm looking for peace. We're not looking to go into a 10-year war and play games. We want peace. And it was just my impression that if we do that, if we sign up, he's looking for something that I'm not looking for. He's looking to go on and fight. We're looking to end the death. 2,000 people died this week. Soldiers, more than that, but 2,000 approximately people died this week. Young Ukrainians and Russians. And somebody would say, why do you care about Ukraine and Russian soldiers? I care about them. I care about everybody. And we're not doing that. Now, if we don't do anything, he's going to have to make peace, but he's dealing with a very weak set of cards. If we sign, he's dealing with a very strong set of cards, and then he doesn't want to make peace. So that's where we are. It's very simple. I'm not looking to get into anything protracted. I want immediate peace. President Putin is going to want to make, and he wants to end it. And you saw what I saw today. This is a man that wants to get us signed up and keep fighting. And we're not doing that. Not for this country.
So what we see here is President Trump is really not impressed with Zelenskyy and Zelensky's attitude. He thinks that Zelenskyy is trying to rope him into one of these forever wars. And that's kind of the impression that I think a lot of people are getting as well. And Trump's not having any of that. So a little later on, I'm not going to play it, but one of the reporters asked if he kicked Zelenskyy out, and Trump wouldn't respond to that, but he kind of said, well, we'll leave it to your imagination, or words to those effect. So I think that what we can gather from the press conference and this scrum here is that there's not a lot of trust going on. The Zelenskyy thinks that he can rope America into one of these never-ending wars, and Trump doesn't trust him. He's going to come out and he's going to end the war. But Zelenskyy is not impressed with that. So I don't think that things went I think that things went actually quite well up until the last 10 minutes of the press conference, but then everything went downhill because Zelenskyy let it be known that diplomacy wasn't on the table, and that really got Trump riled up, and it got JD riled up as well. So I think that we're going to see a lot happen in the next few days. I think it's going to work out for Trump. It's going to work out for the United States, and it will work out for Ukraine, but only if Zelenskyy smartens up and starts, playing ball and really plays his hand correctly, which I doubt very much he really knows how to do. But he's going to learn. He's going to learn really quick, or he's going to find himself completely on his own. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you think. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. Also, please join me on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time for my live stream, where you're invited to join in on the conversation. And that's on YouTube and on Rumble. Finally, if you reside on Vancouver Island and you want to get your Canadian firearms license, I teach the required courses. So if you want to take a course from me, there are links in the description of this video to my website where you can sign up for one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.